Before creakings and pale oaks, before the warden and their dead cities, before even pillagers and the threat of raids, there were dragons. Today, they might just be a monster chained to obsidian pillars, but back then, they almost took over everything. This arc will cover how their civilization flourished, why they were so powerful, and how they went from the greatest empire of the world to a mindless beast trapped to the end dimension. Alright, we are back to my alpha world. Welcome back, everyone. Man, I miss this world so much. I spent so much time in here, and for a while it felt like I would never come back here. Here we are. So we continue our history here in Alpha, in the past, as I mentioned before. And there's a lot that's going to happen here. There's a lot of stuff to build, and the type of videos I'll make in this arc will be a little different. I'm going to focus more on just working on all of the builds and those more like storytelling types of videos, more heavily edited. Those ones will come out maybe later or whenever I have time, because they do take a lot of time to make, and I don't really want to be wasting that much time with the editing. I just want to really focus on making sure this world is it's how I picture in my head. So who is the character in this arc? There's gonna be a couple, but this is the glare, as you can probably tell. I don't know how I'm gonna make the thumbnail for this video, but it'll probably be something about it'll probably be his little face. Maybe. So if you don't know, the glare was a mob that was scrapped, or actually it was one of the mobs that lost a mob vote a couple of years ago. And I just liked their design so much that I decided to implement this species here in my world. They're going to play a very important role in the history, especially because we also have the dragons living in this area. So let's go ahead and have a look at our map first. Well, this is the map of my world, my alpha world. And we're going to be looking at it from the top view here real quick, because we're going to establish what's going to happen in the next few episodes. There's a lot here going on, but we're going to focus here in the central area. This is Spawn. This world was generated in InfDev 2010-04-15. That's, as far as I'm aware, that's one of the very first versions of Minecraft that you can create a world and upgrade it all the way to release version. So that's why I chose this one. And so you can see all of the chunk borders as I upgraded to newer versions. World generation was changing, and then you just get like these really harsh transitions, which I actually like it. I think it does look pretty cool when you're like in the world exploring and you come across these chunk borders. So for the storyline, I'm going to be focusing mainly on developing the central area of the world, and more specific, here is where Spawn is. This is the first settlement or city, whatever you're going to call it, that I built in this world, and it was pretty simple. There were only a few buildings. There was a really high tower that was that reaches build limit, and Story-wise, there was a civilization that lived here. It was 4 species of mobs. Shokers, the villagers, rascals, and the dragons. And essentially they kind of like went their separate ways at some point. It became abandoned, and then the dragons returned to this central area and they took over, and they started to transform the area. Dragons are seen as kind of like maybe the antagonists. They are pretty ambitious, and they will do whatever it takes to subjugate or to control the world. So if we look at the underground part of the world, this version here didn't generate caves, so it was all stone all the way to the lowest level, which wasn't even bedrock. It was just a layer of lava that existed. As I upgraded to one of the InfDev versions, the lava layer that was at the bottom of the world was replaced by bedrock. So you can see this darker gray, it's bedrock. This is the new world generation. Oh, there's even a little line here. That's interesting. But these older parts that were already generated, they didn't generate bedrock, and instead we just got like the void. It's just a hole in the world now. That's very interesting. So that could be one of the reasons why the dragons want this area for themselves. That's why it's so important for them, is because it's a unique part of the world. This is the only part that has these weird things, and they want to control it. Also, this is 00, this is spawn, so you know, a lot of interesting things. Some other cool features about the older world generation is how the trees generate. We're going to have a closer look at them once we're back in the world, but back in the early InfDev versions, you would only get the very, very tall oak trees, and they were very dense, as you can see here. So these forests are really, really dark, and you can also see how steep the terrain is, big drops and big mountains. We started to get some more flat terrain and more continuous land. These are later generations, as you can see. But yeah, InfDev has a really cool world generation. I suggest you check it out if you've never seen any. So other features in my world, we got all the way up to the north, we got a monolith. It's really interesting. There's like a bug that we kind of see as a feature these days. But this is a terrain generation glitch, and you just get like this massive monolith. I'll show you a picture right now so you know what they look like. Really cool. I have a civilization living in here, the Rascals. I will be developing their base pretty soon, and but they're a little farther to the north, so there's a long way to travel. I also found another one here. Essentially the way I discovered this, I checked the seed and I teleported myself here just to open up this terrain. I'm not sure if I will keep it. I might just trim these chunks as I move forward, but they're here now. I don't have any plans for them. What else we have? Here to the south is where the piglins live. There's a couple of videos I released a long time ago with the piglin city or the piglin settlement. And this is their city. And this is kind of like where they live. They weren't part of the early days of InfDev. They only arrived in the alpha era, but you know, they kind of like hanging around here for now. They will play a role in this arc that we're entering right now, but we still got some work to do. So, all right, where are we going to be working in this season? Or in this arc. So try to picture a triangle going from here to I think kind of like here. So this area right here, this triangle area. All of this is considered the dragon's country or kingdom. So all of this we're going to be trying to develop with like roads, buildings, monuments, and castles and so on. So why this area so specific? So the dragons, or the Ender Dragon in Minecraft, it's closely related to strongholds, and I know that there will be 3 strongholds that will generate in this world. One of them is going to be here in the ocean. The other one will be somewhere here. And the other one is here in this piece of land that I didn't open up yet. So technically these 2 will never generate because I already opened these chunks. This is explored terrain, so they won't appear. But this one should generate. So we should get 1 stronghold in this world. And back in the day, that was it. Only 3 strongholds would generate in the entire world. So that was your only chance to go to the end dimension. So for a while, this will be the only way to access the end dimension. And that's going to be very important for the dragons because they are the mobs that are very closely related to the end dimension. I'm probably not gonna just make a wall to block everything because well, that's pretty long wall. It'll be a pretty long wall, and it's gonna be on an angle. That's gonna be really difficult to make. But I might build things along like in a straight line, maybe a few towers or something. I don't really know what I'm gonna do, but I need to play in this world for a little while, get some ideas, some inspiration, and then I should probably come up with something. Another place that it's really cool that we're going to check it out this episode is going to be this island. When the dragon species were exiled, this is where they lived, this is where they stayed. And they kind of transformed this area, they ran a few experiments, and we're going to check it out. There's some really cool stuff here that I want to talk about. Alright, let's get back to the game and we're going to have a look at some other cool stuff in there. Alright, so this is the spawn city. That's the dragon city now. And I already started to work on a couple of things around here. I don't think I showed this before. I may have showed just a few shots, but you could hardly see. So that build is new. It's some sort of, well, actually, let's go back down here. So the docks are new. We didn't have the docks before. Simply because we didn't have boats before. Boats were something that were introduced, I think, either towards the end of InfDev or early alpha, don't remember now. But back when I was working in this settlement in InfDev, we didn't have boats, so there was no point of adding the docks. Now we do, and this will be another way that we can enter the city. So the dragons already kind of like started to develop this connection to the ocean. I'll probably expand even more and maybe start working on a couple of small ships or boats. And this is some kind of storage room where they import and export goods. I still gotta fill these chests with something, but you know, they can maybe grab a few things. They just got a crate of crafting tables, apparently, and you know, got the interior. Maybe there's like a reception desk where they can keep tabs on everything that comes in and out of the city, and some more storage or some more. You know, books and all that kind of stuff. I decided to go with like a really tall and pointy roof with obsidian. This is the type of block that we don't really use, especially in these older versions, because they're so hard to acquire. But I decided to use some of that in on the roofs there. And I also transformed the lighthouse. So that's the big tower I mentioned before. That was built all the way back in the early versions. And I added the obsidian trim on the sides and some netherrack with fire. Because it's supposed to be a lighthouse, so. And this is where I got all of my stuff, all of my materials that I was working. A ton of netherrack and some other goodies here. And my idea for this city is to try to build maybe on top of these things that I made before. One of the things that I have in mind for this area, though, is a place in the Song of Ice and Fire, or the Game of Thrones series, and that's the city of Ashai. And I want this to be a very mysterious place, and a place where we experiment with some magic and you know. But this is all I have for now. I don't know how I'm gonna achieve this in my world, so got a lot of work to do. So let's quickly go through here. So this is a little forest that I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to grow the big tall oak trees, so it will look more ancient. And by ancient I mean closer to what these forests looked in InfDev. What's this? I guess there's a bug with the leaves now, that they don't decay. Yeah, that was pretty common back in these versions, so. Yeah, this is how the old generation used to be. Look how drastic this is. So cool. Let's yeah. Yeah, and those are the big oak trees I mentioned. Yeah. Like even the big oak trees that we get these days, they do not look anything like this. This is a whole nother level of tall trees. In fact, I do have a name for them. I call them the elder oak, just because we don't get those anymore. So if I ever say elder oak, this is the type of tree that I'm talking about. Oh, ouch! I forgot that. I can't sprint. All right, we got to the ocean, and we're gonna go. What's that? East? A little further. Look at that. Really drastic. Okay, that's the Dragon Island. It's on fire. But that's not the most interesting thing about this place. Also, this fire here was an accident. I was not supposed to have burnt this place down. But you know, oh yeah, they break in this version. But fire in these older versions, they would spread so fast and out of control that as soon as one of them caught fire, the whole island just burnt down. As you can see how close the trees were. So that was it. Now it's kind of fitting in a way because, you know, well, I'm about to show you. So look at that. These are nether portals. It's gonna be a bit loud here. Let me lower this. Yeah, it's gonna get really loud. Nether portals. I created and I generated a ton of those here. There are 10 of those big pillars. in the circular area. Why 10 and why circular? Because that's how you get them in the end. That's how the obsidian pillars generate in the end dimension. Oh yeah, also there's a bug in this version where sometimes the fire won't burn the wood type and it will go out, so it would just be forever on fire, I guess. So really cool. So how did I do this? Well, that's one of the bugs that I mentioned that is specific to this version. If you press F4, a nether portal appears nearby. So I decided to just use that to create this island. So the dragons were the civilization that were the species that discovered the end dimension in my world, and they ran a bunch of experiments down there, so it only makes sense that they had like an island, and maybe they ran a ton of experiments until they finally figure out how to locate this new dimension. This new dimension will be very important for the future of the world in a way, so we're going to talk more about it as the season progresses, but that's just a lot of stuff. There's a lot of fun quirks in Minecraft that we can use in our favor to tell a story. I think most of them, if not all of them, reach build limit, and it's kind of weird to see how lowered the build limit used to be in these versions. I think it only goes up to 124 or 128, so it's not that tall. We are going to go through the nether and see if we can find our way back. Where am I? Oh, okay, I'm in the tunnels. So I did dig these tunnels out to try to make nether traveling a little easier. I'm all the way to the bottom of the nether. Yeah, we're gonna look at these things in a minute. I call it Dragon's Den. It should take me back to the capital of the city. And also, I don't really have a name for the city. I have a couple ideas, so I probably put it to a vote. So you guys can help me choose the name. We are back at the Dragon City. Down here is this little cave, and this is all the obsidian that I have to work with this civilization. I also got a ton of TNT. Also, and oh yeah, I have spawners and glitched furnaces. And I mean glitched because if you place them down, they're in their lit format. Yeah. How did I get all of this? Well, the dragons have their ways. They have their magical abilities, and they manage to duplicate all of these items. Now, how did I really get it? There's a bug, obviously, and I can easily duplicate. So if I go to the nether and open a chest while I'm in the portal, I should get to the other side with the inventory open. So all I have to do is just drag everything out, place them in a chest in the nether, and then once I'm back here, this chest should be filled still, because I guess the chunks didn't save once I travel to the other side. Yeah, pretty simple. But this is something that I want to use for this ancient civilization. You know, we don't really get to use, we don't have that many options for blocks, and I think it would look really mysterious how they got their hands on so much obsidian. Which is how I got, you know, like I didn't mine. I mined a stack. I made sure to mine one stack which was painful, and it took me so long. And then once I had a stack of obsidian, then I duplicated. The TNT I also duplicated because I have plans for blowing some stuff in the nether. And but we'll get to that part soon. So I covered, I think, all of the important details here in the Dragon City. So let's quickly go to where my base will be in this season. Because I got a place nearby that I also never showed before. I just never decided how I wanted to show this in the channel, and I ended up just simply not doing a tour or anything, but I think now we have some good use for it. So on the other side of this bridge there's a little island, and back when I was playing in InfDev, I had this idea of making a base, making a castle, using everything I learned in InfDev and using all of the blocks, all the mechanics from that journey, from that experience. And I ended up building this cool castle, or actually it's more like a mansion or than a castle. And I had this plan of building my base in this little island here. And as I explored Alpha, I would just always come back to the base and add more stuff to it. But as it turns out, as soon as I finished it, I changed my mind and I never returned to that base. So it's completed, but I never actually used for anything. So I guess it's time that we now use it for something. And it's not terribly far from spawn. It's actually pretty close. So this could be a good location to have while we're in this part of the world. It does look far, but everything kind of looks far in these versions because you can't sprint. And there you have it. Man, I think I spent like a month working on this. I had so much fun designing and building this. And it was mostly done, you know, just like on the fly. I didn't have anything planned. I just had a ton of cobblestone and I just started placing them. And I got this really awesome base. It sits on top of a very little island. So this is just the entrance. There's a little the little face there. So the entrance here was inspired by the mansion in the first Resident Evil game. I used to play a lot of the game when I was little, and I didn't understand much about the mechanics because I was like probably 8 or 9, and I didn't understand English, so it was really tough for me to get anything finished. So I would spend most of the time in the entrance of the game, which is like a hallway like this with these doors, and I just had no idea what to do, but I would just like walk around. So that's why I think I have this place, you know, imprinted in my brain. And this is like a dining room, and these are the glitched furnaces, by the way. They work as a fireplace. This takes you underground. We're not gonna go there now, but yeah, dining table. I wanted to add bookshelves here, but we didn't have them back in InfDev, so they're empty now. But I got a ton of paintings. This would lead you to the background, to the garden and the other part of the castle, but we'll look at that later. Here you're back at the entrance. Another room with another fireplace, maybe a bar, and staircase. Here you're on the second floor. You can look out to the entrance. Here's the second floor of the dining room. And, you know, all of the other paintings in there. The third floor is where you get the bedrooms. So if we have guests, they can spend the night. They got extra pillows and some coal for their fireplace. I think these rooms are all the same, by the way. Yeah. I don't think there's any secret, so yeah, these rooms are all the same. To the restroom, you got the stools and the sinks. Funny little detail, the sewers all connect and they all dump water back to the ocean. I'll show later how they work, but yeah, they all connect to the ocean. That was a lot of fun to work as well. So if you continue on this way, we got a big tree. This took forever to grow. They would not grow here. Actually, I had to plant like 4 saplings, and I think 3 of them grew, but one of them just would not grow. It just took me forever. And then you're back here. This is the same garden I showed before. That's the dining room. Oh, oops. So here we have a little wheat field, and yeah, some more things. There's a creeper face there, and we got a gravestone. Chunks. He's the time traveler I mentioned on a few videos. Arrived here in the past. He lived his life here with the other mobs, built this place, and then eventually he passed away. And he was buried here. Or did he? Oh, another restroom with sewers that connect. Oh yeah, that's the... how do you call this? Like a bathhouse with the sewer. And some lockers so you can put your clothing in there. And this is where the staff would live, or the mobs that take care of the castle. We're gonna see that in a minute. So let's go back. This is another section with a little tower. And this is used to be Chunks, or the time traveler's chambers or tower. Big nice bed. Some older tools and their old, and his old armor, iron armor. And top floor is the toilet. I don't remember if I hid anything in this lake. Probably, maybe something there. Nothing. I think it's just used to be storage. So this is the back of the island. I try to make that out of lava cast. You know, when you place a block, or when you place lava and then place water on top, and it generates cobblestone. This mechanic doesn't really work in these older versions, so I had to place most of the cobblestone manually. And then we have a little garden here in the back with a spawner, It's not showing up anything right now, but every now and then we get pigs. Oh, there you go. Got pigs here. And funny origin story. This is how the piglins came to be in my world. They are a mutation of these pigs. And then one day a piglin spawned, and that gave rise to a whole new species. All right, let's go back inside. And now we're gonna go underground. That's the second indoor tree that was planted. They're twins. The sapling, these two saplings, this one and the big one up there, they all came from the same tree that I cut down, and I planted this one down, this one underground. This staircase will take you to the mob spawner I mentioned. That's the big tower. Should spawn up there and fall here on the corners. So you just walk around and get their drops. Oh, actually, I think they fall from the center. I forgot how it works. Yeah. This corridor will take you to my toolsmithing area. I have all the furnaces to smelt cobblestone and all of the tools I use in the process. Diamond is not really that great in these older versions. And it's not really that much faster when you're mining with them, so I don't really use diamond that much. I prefer to just use iron instead and just save the diamond for the future versions. This is the mining entrance. I'm still working on this. By the time I came to this island, I already had a ton of cobblestone, so I didn't really have to mine for more. So this is more like for looks than anything else. It does take you all the way to where bedrock was supposed to be, but you can see it's the void. So this underground area is right under the entrance of the mansion. And this used to be a beach area, and now I just kind of like transformed it. This is one of the pillars of the big bridge that we crossed. Chunks Island. Oh yeah, I placed this sign here when I was trying to find a location for this base. I remember I placed a sign, and weeks later I started working on it. And this is where my storage room is. See, still got plenty of cobblestone, and there's even more back at spawn. A lot of sand. What's in here? Some more tools. Iron. Some gold. We can keep going underground. Some more paintings. There's a secret behind this one. That's where I keep the diamond, some obsidian, some redstone, and some gold diamond blocks. I think these are all the lit furnaces. I mentioned them before a couple of times in the video. You were only able to get them in InfDev. So once we upgraded to Alpha, they fixed the bug. So these are the ones that I got back in InfDev. And I used to have 2 monster spawners. You could actually mine them in InfDev as well. And this is a tower that goes to bedrock, or actually, in this case, it goes to the void, and it goes up to the build limit. Don't know why I wanted to build this, because it has no use, but in my mind, when I started working on this, I had this idea of making like an astronomy tower, so I could look at the stars. This is the kitchen. So, like I said, if we have like staff working in the castle, this is where they cook the food. All the raw meat that should be spoiled. Yeah. And up the stairs. Oh yeah, we have some more storage for the kitchen utensils. And then we're back at the entrance. So, like I said, I'll show you the sewers. Yeah, if we go in one of them, it doesn't matter which one, but they should all connect to this central pipe. And I used mossy cobblestone to indicate whenever there's a pipe nearby. So if you want to find where the entrance to the sewers are, just look for the mossy cobblestone. If you ever played in this world, which I will probably release a download one day. And then we're here out in the ocean. So last thing here I'm going to cover in this base. I'm not going to show how to find it, but you should know that there is a secret room somewhere that will lead to a secret library. And it's really low, so it's underground. Still got some more materials here. So we don't have books in this version. And I mean the book and quill, so there's no way to write anything in game unless we use signs. And that was my plan for this, was to have like an archive room where I would document the history of all of the things that happened in this world through signs. And my idea was to just build like long hallways and just start placing signs, just talking about like the events of the world. It was a pretty ambitious idea, I think, because this not only takes a lot of time to dig the hallway, place signs, but I think at one point these will start to lag the world. So I kind of abandoned this idea after a while. So this is an abandoned project, unfortunately. But we got a couple of information, and some of these things might have changed. I call this. This is when I decided that what eons, eras, periods, and age. Period, late, age of spawners. Late only has one age. Yeah, it's a lot of information. I don't know how much this is accurate to the way I do things in this world, but I will be revisiting these signs or these older ideas, and I'll make a video just like straighten everything out. But I had different sections. There's history, geography, mobiology, that's biology for mobs, where I probably talked about the mobs that existed in the world at the time. What else we have? Plantology, fungology, that's a study of fungus. Technology, there's nothing. There's no really redstone even. Astronomy, yeah, I had plans to catalog the stars and everything. Actually, I do have plans to catalog all these stars, so we should revisit that topic soon. Architecture, Chunks' castle history, yeah. For this, yeah. And these are empty. I guess these under here are all empty, so. Too bad I never wrote anything down. Anyway, that's the whole castle. I think it's time that we bring this to the alpha era. right? Because so we got a few new blocks that we can add, such as the bookshelves, for example. Maybe some redstone even. We can make sure to use the ladder. Yeah, these staircases are glitched, or actually they were glitched, they fixed it. But they would change position once you place them, so they had this weird orientation. But yeah, this is the build from the top. So let's go ahead and bring this castle to the modern times, and by modern I mean to alpha. All right, and there you have it. So I added a few more details and a few more paintings. I forgot that we got 5 new paintings in this version. And the bookshelves. Those are quite expensive to make. Not because of paper, because that's actually cheaper in this version. You don't need leather. But I don't have a lot of planks to make them, so I had to be careful where to add the bookshelves. We got the bricks now, which look really nice in this version, and a couple of bookshelves all over the place. I've added the big painting here. I think this is a good location for the big one. I believe this is the biggest painting you can get so far. And I added some books to the rooms, you know, so the guests have something to read, or, you know, some papers for them to take notes. 3. Oh, this grew. I wasn't expecting this to happen, really. That explains why I saw leaves coming out of the building the other day, and I was like, I don't remember this being in there before. That explains. Well, I'll clean this later, but actually, should I leave it? Now that I think about it, I might leave it. All right, we'll wait and see for the rest of for the other ones to grow, but yeah, that actually looks pretty cool. I like it. Yeah, so the other 3 paintings are here, and there's a 5th one. Oh yeah, it's by the entrance. I got some reeds here, which is how they used to be called before, not sugarcane. And then I also added some more over there so we can grow paper. Also, I forgot to show you this room. This is like the staff break room. And we got some books there now for them. Yeah, and that's the other painting, the new one. It does look like that one on top, but instead of that bush, I think it's like a bush with berries. You'll get the creeper head. That looks pretty cool. Oh yeah, and we got the jukebox, but I don't have any discs here, so we can't play anything yet. I couldn't think of anything redstone related to add, but there's actually not a whole lot to add now. Maybe like pressure plates that open a door, but I'm not really good with the redstone, but I think this is all you can get in these older versions. There's no like pistons or comparators or anything like that, so redstone is pretty simple at this point. So all we have is just a couple of like buttons in there just to show, because they look like the handles for like a drawer or something. But yeah, that's all we're gonna get done for today. I have big plans for the next episode. I got something big that I'm working on, and I just want to get this video done. And this is just the first episode of the new series, so hopefully it was fun, and it give you an idea what we're gonna be working on moving forward. Yeah, so thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.